Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing a try on haul. I have like a collective makeup haul for you that are just things I picked up over the last few weeks. Some of it I've already tried, a lot of it I have not, but I figured I would just share it with you today. We'll apply it, chat about it, all the things. I have some stuff from the cosmetics company store, which I love when I go there. You can find such great stuff there. And then I also have my Sephora order. Of course, I placed a Sephora order at the end of the sale at the last possible moment. And I have that stuff as well that I'm going to share with you today. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on my channel. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. And let's just get into the makeup. All right, let's get into it. So I'll quickly share some brushes that I just got in the mail. I told you, if you watched one of my last videos, I mentioned I ordered 3 of these and they finally came. These are the Nikki LaRose BK Beauty N14 concealer brushes. They have 30% off right now, and so I ordered 3 because that's my favorite concealer brush. I also ordered a few brushes from BK Beauty that I actually did not have. I own most of them. Some of them I've purchased myself, some of them I've gotten in PR, but these 2 I do not own and I wanted to. So while they were on sale, I got them. So I got this one. This is the 105. So this is a really large, dense, like kind of like a kabuki style brush. It almost looks like the 106. It's just a lot bigger. So this is the 106, this is the 105. And the reason I got this is a lot of the people I see using this use this for powder foundation. And I've been kind of experimenting with my powder foundations a little bit more recently. So I picked this up just out of curiosity to try it for that, because I do find powder foundation brushes are kind of tricky to find. So that's why I got this. So that is the 105. And then the other one that I did not have is this one. So this is the 107. So it's kind of more of a flat, kind of like a paddle style brush that I think they make this for blush, like precise blush application, but this is one that I do not have. I kind of do want to try it for blush, maybe even bronzer, I don't know. But I did get this brush as well. Oh, and then one other brush. I ordered this a while ago. This is not from BK Beauty. I used to own this brush a long time ago, but I do not own it anymore. This is from Morphe, and it's the M439. Who remembers this brush? It's kind of a similar style brush to that BK Beauty one, but it's smaller. This one's more dense. The bristles aren't quite as long as this one. And I kind of wanted to try this for powder foundation as well. I'm kind of on the hunt for like the perfect powder foundation brush. And this was on sale at Ulta. I forget how much it was. It was like $6 or something around there. So I did get this as well. Let's get into the cosmetics company store, which I love going to those stores so much. I don't have too many that are really close to me, but I do have like 2 locations that I can check pretty frequently. And I did find some good things. So if you're not familiar with the cosmetics company store, basically they're typically in outlet malls, and they are Estee Lauder owned brands. It's basically like all of their overstock. So things that they made too many of, things that they're trying to get rid of, they send it to these stores, and they typically are always running some kind of sale. Sometimes it's 50% off the whole store. When I went this particular time, I think everything was like 65% off, I want to say. It kind of depends on when you go. The sales change all the time. So I found some good things this time. Sometimes you go and you don't really find anything, but sometimes you can find some good stuff. So if you have one anywhere close to you, it would be worth checking out every once in a while, because when you find stuff there, it's typically very, very, very discounted. So it's fun to go visit if you have one that you could drive to. All right, so let me show you what I got here. Okay, I did get another brush. I've always wanted this brush from MAC. This is the 170S brush. And this brush is actually on the MAC website right now on the sale page. And I think on the sale page, it's like $27 maybe. I think it's typically $42. This is what it looks like. It's a very dense, slightly angled foundation brush, but I've always wanted this. I also think you could use this for cream bronzer and blush as well, but I never wanted to pay the full price. So I found this there and I paid $14.70 for this. It says, so this one was 65% off when I went. So I was really excited to see this. I also typically can find the MAC 217 brushes that I use quite a bit there. I didn't find any this time, but usually you can find these brushes and these are great. I use these a lot for cream and liquid eyeshadows. I didn't find that this time, but you can typically find those. All right, y'all are gonna laugh so hard at me when I show you this. The Smashbox, the original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. I have this thing with primers. Usually I have trouble with them. They don't work well for me, but it's like I have this inkling inside of me that wants to find great primers, so I keep trying them. And this is one that I've not tried and it was on sale, I believe. This is actually the most expensive thing that I got. And it was 40% off, which made it $20.40. It's usually $34. Everything else I got was at least 65% off, but I did get this. I know. I always say I'm not going to try primers anymore, and then there I go trying them, you know? Okay, I guess I'll just run through everything that I got here quickly. So I also got this from MAC. This is the Skinfinish Sunstruck Radiant Bronzer. So I've tried the matte version of this. I have not tried the luminous version. This is the shade Radiant Light Rosy. And this shade really intrigued me. So that is it on my finger right there. This formula is very, very silky and smooth, but yet it has this really beautiful sheen to it. They do make a matte version of this as well, but I don't know, something about this shade I felt like would really work well for my skin tone. So I did pick that up. And if you're curious, I paid $12.25 for this. Regular price, $35. All right, this was just a free gift with purchase. This is Clinique Smart Night Custom Repair Moisturizer. Typically, that's another thing. They give you like little samples when you buy things here. So that was free with purchase. Then I got this. This is so random, but I got this itch. So I love concealer. If you watch my content, you probably know that. Concealer is one of my favorite makeup products to use, buy, try, whatever you want to call it. That is like one of my favorite things. I don't know what it is, but I love concealers. I used to own this a long time ago. Back at the very beginning of my channel, this is Too Faced Born This Way concealer, the multi-use sculpting concealer. It's been like 4 or 5 years since I've tried it, and I remember liking it, but I don't remember a whole lot about it. Anyway, they had this shade there, and I want to say I used to use this shade, but I may be wrong. I don't know. I'll have to check. I think it might be like a tad bit deep now that I look at it. But anyway, I would rather it be a little bit deeper than too light because I hate concealer that's too light. But that is the shade there. It's light beige. Yeah, it definitely looks a little bit darker than I remember it looking before. But that's it, kind of blended out on my hand right there. So I don't know. We'll have to try it out and see. I have quite a few concealers that are new, so I don't know if that's the one we'll use today. But anyways, I picked this up again to try it again, and I paid $12.60 for this. Regular price, $36. And then I just got a few more things from MAC. I got this. This is the MAC Stack Lash Primer. I've seen Alexa Chan here on YouTube. I love her. I love her channel. definitely go follow her, watch her videos if you haven't. I've been watching a lot of her content recently, and her content really inspires me. And she's always talking about this MAC primer and the MAC Stack mascara, but especially the primer, she says it's just great. And I saw this. This was also a really good price, I think. I've never tried this before, but this was $10.15, usually $29. So I did get that to try. I haven't used a lash primer in quite a while. And then I got this product, which I believe is discontinued. So I was really surprised to see this, but I have always wanted this MAC eye pigment in the shade Tan. And I'm like 99% sure this has been discontinued like quite a while ago, but they had it there. So I did get this. I have never owned a MAC pigment before, but this is the shade Tan. So there it is on my finger right there. So these are like loose pigments, but look how pretty this shade is. They're a little bit messy, but how pretty is that color? That's in the shade Tan. And I really wanted that as like a topper, just something you could put on top of anything. And I love the color. I paid $8.75 for that, regular price $25. And then the last thing that I got is one of their Pro palettes. I already have two of these. They're smaller. This is the large Pro palette that fits the 15 pan eyeshadows. So it looks like this. So you have to buy the palette and then the insert separately. So I got the palette at one store, and then the insert came from a different store because they didn't have them at the same store. But anyway, so I did get these, and these are such a good price at the cosmetics company store. If you can find them, that is the place to buy them, because these were the insert. So the 15 insert here was $2.80. And then the palette itself was $3.85. And they're usually like $9 or $10 if you buy them from MAC. So they're a lot cheaper if you can find them there. And then I also got some new single shadows to put in the palette. So I'm kind of collecting some more MAC single shadows that I want. I have the smaller palettes that I've shown you before. Like I have this one that I love that I made, but there's a few other shades that I want. And sometimes, again, you can find the Pro shadows there, and they're like $2 as opposed to $11, which is what they are on the MAC website. So I did get a few of those. I got this one, which is a Dazzle shadow. This is Jouy de Glitz, I think is how you say it, but it's a really, really shimmery green. I'm not going to swatch all these right now because we'll be here forever, and I'm going to do a whole video on creating this palette when I get the rest of them, but I'll quickly show you which ones I got. So I got that one. I got this one in charcoal brown, which is kind of like a medium toned, like cooler brown. I got cozy gray, which is just a really, really pale, light taupey gray. And then I also got nude model, which is like a light metallic plum, but I'm so excited about those. And these were, I believe, well, what's interesting is 3 of those shades came from one of the stores. Those were $3.85. One of the shades came from a different store, and it was $2.20. It was 80% off instead of 65% off. So I don't really know about that either. The sales really change up all the time, so they're always different. But anyway, that's what I got from the cosmetics company store. Before we move into everything else, I do want to apply a little bit of this primer, and fingers crossed this doesn't mess anything up. But if it does, you know, we'll just start over, because that's what we normally do. But I believe it was Nikki LaRose I saw recently talking about how this was like a holy grail #1 primer for her. And this is one that I have not tried. I have a long time ago tried the green primer from Smashbox. I think they still make it, but that's the only Smashbox primer that I've tried. Okay, so it's like a really thin gel consistency. Like, ooh, it's like watery gel almost. All right, so I am only applying this right here, and I'm just gonna bring what's left down here. This is so thin. I wonder if it's supposed to be this thin. I thought it would be a little bit thicker. I almost wonder if it got cold or something. I don't know, because it's definitely kind of like a watery texture. All right, moving into the Sephora things. I also got a new shade of Armani Luminous Silk. This has been one of my go-to foundations in the last 6 months or so. I love it. I typically wear the shade 5. And I had a shade 5 myself, and then Armani sent me a shade 5 because I did like a little Instagram promo thing for them, and they sent me a new shade 5. And unless I'm just going absolutely crazy, the shade 5 that they sent me, I swear is not the shade 5 that I had before. I don't know if the shades have changed since I bought mine or what, but shade 5 was not neutral in the new one that they sent me. It was pretty warm looking, and shade 5 has always been very neutral. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just me or what, but I got the shade 4.75, but I just got it in the mini size because I want to try it and see maybe if this shade would work better for me now. I don't know. I really feel like the shade has changed, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, this looks more like the shade 5 that I remember. So this is shade 4.75. So we're gonna try this and hope for the best over that Smashbox primer. I didn't look like it had done anything strange on my skin when I looked up close a minute ago, so let's hope it does well over the primer. Has anyone else experienced that? Like a shade that you've worn before, you like rebought it or something like that, and then the shade wasn't the same? I don't know if I'm just going crazy or what, but I swear the shade is not the same. Let's use this new MAC brush. I know I should wash it first, but I want to use it, so. Ooh, I actually like this brush. This brush is kind of like a similar size to my 106. It's slightly angled, and I think it's just a little bit more dense than the 106, but it does kind of remind me of it. I like the size of it. I don't love a foundation brush that's too large. I like something that's a little bit smaller. See, like, I swear this shade looks like shade number 5 used to look. I think we may actually have a winner with the primer in terms of like it not interfering with the foundation, because I don't see anything unusual happening like I typically do. Yeah, I mean, it definitely kind of mattified for sure in this area, but nothing weird is happening. If you watched my last, if you're not familiar with my content, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like I try primer all the time, and it always does something weird to the foundation on top. And I'm clearly a psycho, and I just keep trying them because I feel like there has to be a good primer out there, or there have to be good primers, I should say. And it's my duty to find them. Okay, I'm really liking this brush, actually. I love the shape of it. It's really good if you like to like build up coverage with your product. This type of brush that's a little bit more dense and angled like this really helps you like bounce the product into your skin. The BK Beauty 106 is good for that as well. It's just not quite as dense as this one. All right, I just applied some corrector. I just did it quickly because if I show every single thing, we're gonna be here forever. So I used my Sigma one today. For concealer, I have a few concealers. I know, I'm crazy, okay? I know. I'm crazy when it comes to concealer, okay? I got this one from Sephora, actually inside Kohl's. I did a little Instagram thing with them. You might have seen it. And they had this new concealer from Sephora, or not from Sephora, from Bare Minerals. This is the Bare Pro 16-Hour Wear All Over Skin Perfecting Matte Concealer. This launched a few months ago, and it's like one of those things where it launched. I remember I got an email from Bare Minerals about it. I never heard anyone talk about it. I never heard anyone review it. I've never seen anyone use it. I don't know. That seems to happen a lot with Bare Minerals products now. I don't know. But anyway, it's a really like big concealer, and it has SPF in it. It's zinc oxide based, so it's mineral SPF 25, if you care about that. They seem to be wanting to put SPF in everything now. This one, oh my gosh, I did not think this was this yellow. Oh my goodness. When I looked at this in store, I swear this was not this yellow. This is supposed to be light neutral, y'all. Does that look neutral? That looks straight up yellow to me. And I remember the shade above this I looked at. When I swatched that one, it looked really yellow. I think they messed up the shade range again with this concealer. They also, years ago, had the original, what was it called? The original mineral concealer. It was also a liquid concealer. And that one, I never even bought it because the shades were so bad. They were so yellow and everything was just yellow. They ran dark, and I want to say they ran like very warm, like all of the shades. All right, I'm not sure we're going to use that. Then I got this. Now this I've used a long time ago, but I haven't had it in a few years. This is Huda Beauty, the Luminous Matte Faux Filter Concealer. I got a different shade than what I had in the past. This one is shade Cotton Candy 22.3B. So that one is Cotton Candy from Huda Beauty. And then a tried and true favorite, I used mine up probably about a year ago, haven't had it since, but I've been missing it, is Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. This one is in the shade Creme Brûlée. Creme Brûlée is a really good, like, I would say cooler undertone, which I like for under my eyes especially. In fact, I would say it's honestly kind of like neutral leaning cool. So that's it there. In fact, that one looks the most neutral to me. And that one's supposed to be like a blue undertone. Anyway, so those are the three concealers other than the Born This Way, which I already showed you. All right, I'm gonna use Nars Radiant Creamy because I know this one's a good shade and I missed this one. I'm so bummed about that Bare Minerals one though. I was so excited about that one. But I feel like that keeps happening with them. Like they release these products and first of all, they do no promo for it. Second of all, the shade ranges are not good. I mean, and I love Bare Minerals. Like I want them to do well, but I just, lately I just don't know. And of course, I'm gonna blend that with the N14. I know for a long time Nars, like when you went to the Nars display, they had a big like sign over this concealer that was like, this is the #1 selling concealer in the United States, which I wonder if it really was or if it still is. Because I know this is a classic. It's been around a long time. I'm gonna take a little bit of the Huda one, mainly just because I want to see what the color looks like on my face. I think the thing I'm most excited about so far is this MAC brush. I kind of thought I might like the shape of it, but it's actually even better than I thought. And now I'm thinking I should have gotten the other one because I want to say there were two sitting there when I got this one. Now I'm thinking I should have gotten it. This product I've actually been using, but I just haven't shown you yet. And I'm glad that I bought this. This was on sale one day at Ulta. It was like 30% off randomly online, and I picked it up. Again from MAC. I'm on a MAC kick, if you can't tell. And this is shade N4 in the Studio Fix Powder Foundation. This is kind of why I've been wanting to experiment with the brushes, because I'm trying to find like the perfect brush to use with this, but this is shade N4 and this is like a spot on shade match for me, which very rarely happens for me in matte complexion products. So I've been really excited to have this, but I don't really need any of this right now, but just for the heck of it, we're just playing. I'm gonna take this 105 from BK Beauty and I'm just gonna take a little bit of it and just lightly kind of go over my face just to see how this does with powder foundation, because that's kind of why I bought it, just out of curiosity. If you use powder foundation and you have a brush that you love for it, let me know. I feel like that's something that's kind of hard to find sometimes, is a good powder foundation brush. Sometimes it's just nice to have a powder like this that is like an exact shade match and it can give you more coverage when you need it. You could just set your face with it kind of lightly like I just did. It's kind of a nice thing to have, but I've never had a MAC one that was like in my exact shade until now. Moving into bronzer, I'm going to use that bronzer I got from the cosmetics company store. So this is the Radiant Skinfinish Sunstruck Bronzer in light Rosy. I'm gonna just use this. This is a 111 brush from BK Beauty. It's kind of a dense, I think it's actually called the dense bronzer brush maybe. But I'm gonna use this and we're gonna test out this bronzer formula and the color, because I don't know, you know how sometimes you swatch something? I was swatching this in the store and like when you swatch it, you just kind of feel like it would be a good shade for you. That's how this bronzer was when I swatched it in the store. Obviously, I've never used this before, so this might not even be the best brush to use with it. I don't know, but I do kind of like the tone of it. And it has just a really nice sheen to it. I wouldn't call it like glittery or anything, but it definitely isn't matte. It has like a really beautiful radiance to it. I have a matte one of these bronzers, but it's not this shade. I don't remember what shade it is, but it's not this one. I bet this would also be really pretty as eyeshadow. All right, moving into two blushes I got from Sephora. One is from Nars, and this is the shade Behave. Now, the reason I got this is this was in Jessica Braun, who I love and watch all the time. This was one of her Sephora sale recommendations, this blush in this color in the shade Behave, which is a really light, like warmer peachy nude. The color just really appealed to me. So it's obviously very light. So if you have a deeper skin tone, this wouldn't show up very much on you, but I'm hoping maybe on me it will. So that's it right there. Definitely kind of on the light side, but I kind of like that sometimes for a blush because you don't have to be super careful with it. And then the other one, this was a random purchase because I was in a Sephora. This was one of the things I actually planned to buy the first time when I went to Sephora for the sale, but the Sephora I was at didn't have it. The shade was out of stock. And it's an Hourglass blush, which I have two of, and this is a very nice formula, but it was this color, Mood Exposure, which is kind of like a light mauve-y pink. Let me swatch it. Again, a pretty light shade, but obviously, especially right now, I'm very fair. So that is shade Mood Exposure. So you can see it's a little bit more cool toned, more of like a mauve, and then Behave is a little bit warmer, a little bit peachier. Now the question is, which one do I use? I think I'm gonna use Hourglass. Maybe we'll use a little bit of Behave in a minute, but I'm gonna try it with this new brush, the 107, and just kind of see what I think. So this brush is obviously a little bit smaller, a little bit more dense, which probably wouldn't work well for every formula because it would probably be a little bit much in terms of the pigment. But for a formula like this that's on the more sheer buildable side, a brush like this can be nice. It definitely helps you see and get a little bit more of the pigment with something that's more sheer. That color I actually really like. I'm very into like the mauve tones right now. All right, so I like that a lot. Mood Exposure from Hourglass. And then should we use a little bit of Nars? I guess we should since we have it here. I'm not using a lot because I don't want to go just crazy overboard, but I'm just gonna kind of lightly tap over the blush and the bronzer. Not gonna be able to see much about the color obviously, but it feels wrong to not use it. I kind of like this blush brush actually. I wasn't sure how I would love that shape, but I kind of like it. All right, I do not have a new brow product or a new highlighter or anything like that. So I'm gonna do brows quickly and then I'll come back and we'll move into the eyes. All right, did my brows, applied a little bit of eye primer. Now we're gonna move into the eyes. Now I'm not gonna use the MAC shadows because like I said, I'm waiting for a few more to come in the mail and I'm gonna do a whole video on that palette. So we're not gonna use those today, but I promise it'll be in an upcoming video. Something else that I picked up, this is so random, but I saw it in the store and I really like the colors. This is by Sephora collection. It's the Precious Gemstones eyeshadow palette. They do these every so often. They make these little like 5 or 6 pan palettes. And then they usually end up discontinuing them and then coming out with new ones. But these are actually very good eyeshadows typically. I've had a few in the past, but this is what this one looks like. So it's lighter, it's kind of cooler tones, but you know, these are the kind of tones that I really like and that I wear. Let's use a few shades from here. I'm gonna take the really large like cream shade. They always do this with these palettes. They make the cream or the lighter shades like larger in these palettes. I guess, I don't know, maybe they assume like that shade would get used the most. I don't know, but anyway, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go all over my eye with it. And the primer I used today was the Sigma eyeshadow primer. I think I am gonna take a little bit of my MAC bronzer that we used and I'm gonna put this in the crease because I love doing this with no matter what I do on my eyes. I like to use my bronzer on my eyes as well. It just kind of ties everything together. And this color, like I said earlier, I thought would be a really good eyeshadow color, and it is. It's really, really pretty. All right, now I'm gonna take this shade down here. So this one's kind of a light brown, but it's like a cooler, taupier brown. And I'm gonna start applying this in the outer corner and then kind of work it over that bronzer that we just used. Yeah, the Sephora collection eyeshadows I feel like are very, very underrated because I don't hear many people talk about them at all and they're very good. I've had like multiple of these palettes and they're really affordable for, you know, a Sephora product and they're really good. They blend well and they come in a bunch of different color stories too. I have a few things that I want to use, so I'm struggling. Like I really want to use this shade right here. But then something else that I ordered, this was a while ago, I got this from Ulta, is a little Bare Minerals loose shadow. Now, who remembers these? Who remembers when these were so popular? You would see them everywhere. I had a few of these, but I've never had this shade, which is Nude Beach. It's a really light, very, very shimmery nude. Kind of like a topper type of shade almost. And I was on Ulta. It was the same day I ordered that MAC powder foundation and these were on sale as well. Ulta does that. They just do random sales just on random days and this was one of the products that was on sale that day. So I kind of want to use this. But I also kind of want to use this shade in this palette. Let's swatch them actually next to each other. I think the Sephora one, which is on my finger right there, that one's going to be more of like a true, just opaque, yeah, metallic shade. So that's the Sephora shade there. It's not as like sheer in the base as the Bare Minerals one is. I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna use both. Okay, so I am gonna go into the Sephora shade. So this one right here. And I'm gonna use a brush first with this. This is a really old Luxie brush. Is Luxie still around? I don't even know if Luxie still exists. But I'm gonna just tap that shade on the lid and kind of bring it up a little bit to kind of meet those crease shades. Does Luxie still exist? Now I really want to know. Because they actually make good brushes. I bought a set of them one time, like probably 2 or 3 years ago at a TJ Maxx I was at, and it was so good. I loved it, but I'm not sure if they exist anymore. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of this warmer kind of cream color here on the first brush that we used, which is like just a larger blending brush, and just kind of feather over everything. This is the N13 from BK Beauty and Nikki LaRose. All right, we have to use this Bare Minerals eyeshadow, so I'm gonna grab some on my finger. So again, this is the shade Nude Beach, and I'm gonna kind of keep my eye open and just tap that one. Honestly, that was kind of more than I was trying to get a really light amount of it, but I still got quite a bit of it with my finger. Gosh, I used to have one of these, and it was, actually this was my first eyeshadow I ever wore on my eyes. They had a color, they don't make it anymore, but it was called Queen Linda, and that was like my one eyeshadow. I would put that all over my lid, and then back then, I don't remember if I used something like as a crease color or not. I can't remember. Eventually I started using Nars Laguna bronzer, and I would put that in the crease, but I can't remember if I did that back then. I don't know, but Queen Linda was so pretty. I wish they still made it. Before we do anything else with the eyeshadow, I did get 2 new eyeliners. One is from Sephora collection, one is from Makeup Forever. The Makeup Forever is the original Artist Pencil in Limitless Brown. I really like the Artist Pencils from Makeup Forever. That shade, Limitless Brown, is kind of hard to get your hands on. I've looked for it like multiple times when I was in the store, and usually it's out of stock. And anyway, so I ended up ordering it in that last minute Sephora order. And then this is the Sephora 12-hour eyeliner, which I have a few of these. These are great. They're pretty affordable and they're very long wearing. So I got a different shade. This one is the shade Cocoa, and it's kind of like a reddish, almost like a purpley brown. I don't know if you'll be able to tell there on the swatch, but it's a really unique shade. I think we'll start with Limitless Brown. And I actually have not used these before on my eyes. I've used them on my lips and like the lip liner shades, but I have not used them on my eyes. But I'm just gonna line with this shade. Ooh, that's a nice brown actually. It's dark without being like too dark. You know, some browns, by the time you apply them, they almost look black. Sometimes it can be hard to find like a true brown. And then I'm gonna take a small brush. This is a 209 from BK Beauty. And I'm actually gonna take a little bit of the brown in this palette right here. This is a very cool toned brown. I'm gonna kind of go over that liner with this, like really messy, try to like smoke it out. Kind of blend the edge here again. Oh yeah, that shade actually worked really well. Oops, sorry if I was blurring the camera, but yeah, that shade worked really well actually with that eyeliner. Are you guys still there? feel like I've been talking for a really long time. Whenever I film these longer videos and I get to like this point, sometimes I'm like, is anybody still listening to me? I've been talking for a long time. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna take a little bit of that MAC bronzer and I'm just gonna put that down here. And then I'm gonna take just a little bit of this one, so that when we put on the lid, and I'm gonna use the same brush. It's just like a little pencil brush. I saw someone doing this the other day. They took like one of the shades they had used on their eyes. It was, I think, like a metallic shimmery shade, and they kind of put it in the very center of the lower lash line. I don't remember who it was now that I saw doing that. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop there. For eyeshadow, I'm gonna curl my lashes and then we're gonna try the MAC primer. I'm gonna do one eye at a time. So I did get the Legit Lift Lash Primer from MAC, from the cosmetics company store. And I really want to try this. I do actually have, in fact, maybe we'll use it. In one of my orders, I got a MAC Stack mascara as like a gift with purchase. So I guess we'll use it with the primer. But let's try this. Oh, the wand is kind of curved, which I actually prefer in a mascara wand. I don't really see much going on the lashes. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a thick looking primer or not. You know how usually I feel like with lash primers I've used before, you can kind of see it, like that makes your lashes look like bulkier or something. This one you really can't see a whole lot. Let me look at the directions. I'm not sure if you're supposed to let it sit. Apply primer first, then apply mascara directly after. So we'll use this little MAC Stack sample. I have used MAC Stack before. In fact, I think I have the brown one here somewhere. I should have used that one, I guess, but I do like it. It on me at least, when I had a full size of the black one, it did get pretty like clumpy on me pretty quickly. But it definitely, I mean, if you want like some intense lashes, this will do that for you for sure. All right, yeah. I think it definitely did add like some thickness to my lashes, because my lashes aren't like in a fantastic place right now. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not like as thick or as long as they've been in the past. So I think that definitely did add a lot of like oomph to them. Let's do the other side. Let me know if you have tried this mascara primer. I have not used a mascara primer in probably a year or two. Definitely added some thickness. I don't always choose this type of mascara. I'm a little bit more of a lengthening, separating mascara for like every day. But I mean, if you want some volume, MAC Stack mascara will give you that. It gives you intense lashes for sure. It kind of reminds me honestly of Lash Clash from YSL. Last, for the lips, believe it or not, I do not have a new lip liner. Which is shocking because I always buy a new lip liner, but we'll just use one that I have out here. This is Makeup by Mario in Almond, one of my most used lip liners ever. So that is Almond from Makeup by Mario. Now for lips, I have a few new things. I got a new lipstick from Dior. This is the Rouge Dior, the Velvet Lip in the shade 100 Nude Look, which I've wanted this particular shade for quite a long time. It's very pretty, kind of like a warmer, peachier nude. So I have that. I may use that. I also have a YSL Love Shine. This is the High Shine lipstick. This one is in the shade 205. Now this is, I've been using this. This is not brand new. I've used this quite a few times. I just haven't shown you. This is more of like a berry color. It's kind of like a berry brown. It's a really beautiful shade. So that shade 205 right there. And then one other thing I have is from Bare Minerals. It's the Mineralist Dewy Gloss Balm in the shade Devotion. Kind of reminds me of a sheer version of Patrick Ta, She's Wanted. Similar to YSL, it's not as brown as the YSL. This one's more of like a true berry color. Let's do this Bare Minerals and just see how it looks. That's definitely pretty. It looks a little bit more pigmented on my lips than it does in the swatch right here, but that is it's a really pretty shade, really pretty shade. These are very similar to a lot of formulas on the market, honestly. The YSL Love Shines, these are also similar to the Chantecaille Lip Cheeks. These are very similar to that. There's a lot of formulas like this. Kind of want to take it off and try the other ones, just out of curiosity. Let's do a little bit of this Dior lipstick in Nude 100. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That's nice. That's more of like a warmer, like peachier nude. Should we do a little bit of YSL on top? Why not? Few more things I got and then this video will be over because I know we've been here for a long time. I did restock my skin enhancer from Mario because I'm almost finished with mine and this is like a non-negotiable product for me. So I did get that in light medium. I also got a Sephora powder puff to try just because I was curious about their puff. I've been using puffs a little bit more lately. But this one I was curious about because it's really pointy and a lot of the puffs are not. They're like bulkier and more round. This one has that really nice pointed edge. So I thought it would be really nice for like precise areas under the eyes, things like that. So I did get that. And then one more thing. This is not makeup. This is just a random hair thing, but it was a really good price and it was on the sale. This is the Way hair set. It's the Better Together set and it has the detox shampoo and the leave-in conditioner. I've used both of these products before and I love them both. The detox shampoo is great when I've been a long time without washing my hair, which is quite a lot. And the detox shampoo just gets rid of that gunk that kind of builds up in your hair, like dry shampoo, you know, leave-in conditioners, things that help you slick your hair down, all of those things. This shampoo really breaks that up and I really like it. It also smells incredible. And then the leave-in conditioner is just something I spray in my hair after I've washed it. Smells great and it just kind of helps with frizz, detangling, all those things. And they had this set together for $43, 2 full-size products, which I thought was a pretty good deal. One more thing I just found that I forgot about. This, I got the Ole Henriksen Pout Preserve Lip Treatment in the Creme Brûlée color. This one, I think this is like one of the more recent ones they've launched, but this is my favorite lip treatment by far. I now own all of them and I have them everywhere. I have one in here, one in my purse, one in my bathroom. They're just so good. And this one is like a light nude color and it smells like creme brulee. You're not going to be able to see it really because I've got all those other things on my lips, but I did get that as well. All right, finally we are at the end of the video. Are you still there? Are you still there? Because I know this is going to be a long one when I go to edit it, but I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, just playing with some things and testing some things out. It's always so fun to sit down and do this. It's just, I don't know, it makes my makeup loving heart very happy, very, very happy. So I hope you enjoyed it. And let me just give you a few things I'm most impressed with of all of this. Definitely this brush, this might be a new favorite foundation brush. That's like a bold statement for me to make because I'm very loyal to the 106 from BK Beauty, and I still love that obviously, but this I have a feeling I'm really gonna use a lot, and now I'm sad because I could have gotten 2 of these, but I did not. I only have 1, but this is really, really nice. I love the density, and I just really liked using it for the foundation, so that I'm very impressed with. Very, very impressed with. Another thing I'm super excited about is the MAC Studio Fix foundation. Now I know I applied it over a lot of other things today, but I've used this on its own a few times. I've also used it over lighter weight, glowier products, kind of tap this on top to add more coverage and kind of set it down, and it works really well like that too. And this shade in N4 is perfect shade match. I actually really like the MAC bronzer as well. I wasn't sure about this because I haven't tried this Radiant formula, but I actually kind of like the tone of this bronzer for my skin tone. And then I really like this blush from Hourglass. I kind of figured I would because these tones, these mauve colors, I just seem to keep gravitating towards them lately. I don't know, but I really like this color. If you're around my skin tone and you like these tones, you like something a little bit more on the soft, subtle side, this is really pretty, really pretty. And then honestly, I like the eye stuff as well. I'm probably most excited about this little nude beach from Bare Minerals because it's just so nostalgic and the shade is just so pretty. Again, I promise we will use this MAC palette with the new shadows as soon as I get the rest of them in the mail. So this will be coming in a video. And I guess those are like the standout things for me today. Oh, one other thing, the Makeup Forever Limitless Brown. This is a really nice eyeliner. I like the color. It's brown without being intense. Really easy to smudge out with that eyeshadow. So I enjoyed that as well. So I hope you enjoyed this fun hangout, makeup, chatty time with me. I know it's been a long one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I will list everything and link it for you with shades and everything in the description box. If you do shop through any of my links, I do make a commission that supports my channel. And if you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you.